Sit up nice and tall, maybe on a prop, maybe on the earth. Take your palms to face down and close your eyes. Close your eyes so that your attention and intention goes inward to how you're doing and you're feeling instead of going outward to how other people think about you or feel about you. Start to notice your breath without changing it, without doing your breath. It's always there happening in the background. But for the next few minutes, just observe what it feels like to breathe in and out. Observe how your body reacts to your breath. Does your belly lift on an inhale or does it tuck in and back? What physical shape does your body take on an exhale? Maybe it begins to curl or cave in. And without changing your breath now, can you just notice how you breathe? Do you breathe really quickly? In and out, in and out, in and out, like a hummingbird? Or is your breath really long and slow, even lethargic? Where does your breath go when you inhale? Can you feel it inside your body? Does it just track down to your throat, or maybe it swims right down through your chest and your ribs? Perhaps it even deep dives into your belly. Does it take longer to come in and reach its destination than it does to come out? And for your final few seconds, can you start to observe what's happening between the inhale and the exhale? That microcosm of space between coming up and settling down, what happens? And sit with that for the next 5 breaths. Bring your hands together at your heart center. Think of something you want to let go of. Maybe it's Halloween candy. Maybe it's a distracting thought. Maybe it's a fear of other people's judgment of you. Set your intention for this practice to let go. Take a deep breath in. Open your mouth wide and exhale. Good. Now blink open your eyes. Shoot your hands all the way up like rocket ships. Start to soften through your shoulders, engage your core, and rotate over towards the right. Rotate towards the right. That's the whole movement. Come back through center. Soften through your shoulders, maybe your elbows. Rotate to the left. Now could you bend your elbows down halfway? Fingers are spread really wide. And rotate over to the right again. Back through center. Think about lengthening through your spine when you're in center. And rotate over to the other side. Come back through neutral, open your arms wide, palms are facing down, mindful of all the stuff around you. Rotate towards the right, and this time take your left hand across your right thigh. Put your opposite fingers down on the floor behind you. Inhale, lift up through your spine. And as you exhale, can you just look behind you? Good. Gently rotate back through center. Take both arms up on an inhale. Turn your palms to face out and then drop your hands down to shoulder height on the exhale. Start to rotate now towards the left, and eventually your right hand comes across your left thigh. Left fingers come behind you. Before you twist, get long through your spine. This is big. This is important. Get long through your spine before you twist. Then start to twist at the ribs before you take your gaze back behind you. Good. Rotate back through center. Skyrocket both arms up. Inhale. And exhale. Hands come onto your thighs. Hands come onto your thighs. Cave in your belly so you get a big, big rounded back and look right down your breast line. Loop your shoulders back. Lift your heart forward. Pinch your shoulder blades together and look up. Now let's add breath. So it's an exhale that takes us into this little cave of our belly, rounding into your upper back, shoulders protracting forward. And on the inhale, your shoulders retract back. You're lifting and looking up, smiling across your chest. One more time, just like that. A simple cat-cow from seated. Brilliant. Come back through a neutral spine. Turn your body around and come down onto all fours. Come down onto all fours. Take your right leg back into extension. And push through the ball of your right foot. Start to rock your hips back and forth. Scoop your belly up. You're just stretching out your calf here. And then pause that movement. Bend into your right knee. Bring your heel towards your bum. And start to roll that right knee around. Let's do 3 big hip circles from quadruped in each direction. And as you do this, notice if your belly starts to tank down towards the floor. It probably does and is. And then actively engage your core like you're tying up a corset super, super tight. Good. Release that right leg down. Take your left leg into extension. Just do those little calf pulses. Back and forth, back and forth. Finish that up by bending that knee. Tack your heel towards your hip. And then take 3 big hip circles. 3 big hip circles in each direction. Mindful of the pressure you're putting on your wrists. Mindful of any caving through your belly. Good. Keep breathing through it. And then place that leg down and separate your knees just a little bit further apart. Walk your hands forward, but keep your hips right above your heels. Walk your hands forward and cave your belly and your forehead down towards your mat. Maybe push down through your fingertips, lift the arms up off the floor, take a big breath into your upper back, neck, and shoulders. Exhale, dump your upper body down. Good, and then take your left hand, stamp your left hand down on the floor. That's gonna lift you up. It feels a bit like a push-up. Circle your right arm up towards the ceiling. And sink your hips back into a child's pose now, as you take your right arm under your left arm and place your right ear on the floor or maybe up on a block. Stretch your left fingers forward. Begin to tiptoe your left fingers across your yoga mat. Maybe you can peek underneath your left armpit. Take a big breath in. And exhale. That's perfect. Plant down through your left hand. Lift the right arm all the way up. It almost feels like you're pulling an arrow and reaching it up. Circle your right hand forward and place it down. Let's try that on the other side. Scoop your left arm back behind you. Big shoulder opening here. Sink your hips towards your heels and scoot your left arm now under your right arm. Walk your fingers forward. Push your fingertips away. Start to tiptoe your fingers across your yoga mat and peek your head under your armpit. So you're quite literally in your armpit, smelling it here.
I was with some girlfriends the other night and we were talking about how our armpits are getting smellier. We don't know if it's hormonal or age related, but I apologize if you see me in person. Take a deep breath in, smell that armpit, and then exhale, walk your fingers back out in front, push through your right hand, lift that left arm out, and place it back down. Good. Can you take a normal cat-cow? So the belly just falls in, shoulders loop back, and heart lifts up. Exhale, puff between your shoulder blades. Look down towards your beautiful, beautiful belly. Do two more like that. Easing out any tension or discomfort in your spinal body. And now flex your feet, puff between your shoulder blades. Lift your legs up. Lift your hips up rather for downward dog. And bring your feet in a footprint closer towards your body. So if you have a prop, you can move it to the side for now. Bring your feet in a footprint closer. Bend your knees as much as you need to. Listen before doing. You're going to take your right hand and reach it under your body to the outside edge of your left calf and then push down through your left heel. You guessed it. Look under your left armpit and smell it all over again. Take a deep breath in here. You're in a twisted down dog. Exhale. Release the right hand. Bend into your knees as much as you need to. Scoop the left arm under. Catch the outside of your right shin. Peer under your armpit. Take a big breath in and exhale. Good. Plant your palms. Walk really slowly to the top of your yoga mat. Hang and dangle over your feet. Now, can you bend into your knees and just walk your hands over to one side? So you're even twisting and dangling pose. And then go ahead and try that on the other side. Just walk over to the other side. Head is super heavy. Come back through center. Puff between your shoulder blades. Let the fingers be really heavy here. Push through your feet and start to come all the way up to standing. And when you get to standing, go ahead and find a few really nice big shoulder rolls. Let's take our feet together. So your big toes are touching. Big toes are touching. The rest of your toes are spread so wide you could put those little pedicure things in them. Those little foam pedicure toe separators. Inhale, reach your arms forward. Now engage your core, pull your belly in, and bring your hands to heart center. Rotate towards the right, tack your left elbow across your right thigh. Look at your thumbs and think about this. Think about getting your thumbs towards your heart center. And in order to do that, remember to straighten your spine and then draw the ribs up. If your left hip is jetting your left knee forward, pull your left knee back so it's right on the same line as your right knee. Now slowly come back through center. Let's take pause in a forward fold. Let your head dangle here. Inhale. Exhale. Out through your mouth. Bend into your knees. Pick your heart and hands up to your heart. Squeeze your knees together. Draw your tailbone down. Lengthen through the spine, then rotate to the left. Now your right elbow tacks against your left thigh. Palms are inching towards your heart center. Track your right hip back. Right knee is aligned with your left knee. Breathe here for 3, 2, and 1. Pull back through center. Place your fingers on the floor. Let your bum lift up as the legs straighten and your head hang down. Now inhale, lift up just halfway. And exhale, plant your palms, step back into a high plank pose. Drop your knees to the floor, drop the tops of your feet to the floor. Bend into your elbows and lower just halfway. Push through your hands, lift back up into your low plank. Try that 2 more times. So you're playing with chaturanga arms here. Bending into these little tricep push-ups that really activate all of the muscles we need when we do our traditional vinyasa flow. Next time you come down, come all the way down. And take your hands even lower so they're right beside your side ribs. Press down through each of your toenails. Pin your shoulder blades back. Push your pubic bone down so your bum is strong. Inhale, lift up ever so slightly. This is not a big movement. Exhale to lower. Try that one more time with all that nice prep work. Push through your hands. Inhale, lift up ever so slightly. Exhale to lower. And now move your hands outside of your yoga mat. You're on tips of your fingers, elbows shoot up. Inhale, lift up and peer over your right shoulder like you're checking out your own bum. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift up, look over your left shoulder. Exhale, lower down. Plant your hands beside your ribs, flex your feet, push into your hands and your knees so you come back up into that low plank. Shoot your hips back, find downward facing dog. Normal downward facing dog. So your palms are stretched out in front of you. There's external rotation in your upper arms as you push your chest back towards your thighs. Take a breath in here. And exhale with a sigh. Look forward, step your right foot between your hands. Come onto the tips of your fingers. Squeeze your inner thighs together and make sure your legs are at least hip distance apart. They could be wider if you're feeling off balance today. Bring your hands to your heart center. Lift all the way up into a nice lunge. Good. Before we come into that low twist, could you open towards the right, separate your hands and peer over your right fingers. Take your right hand now down your back thigh, lift your left arm up and look towards your left hand. Inhale. Really good. Exhale, bend into your left elbow, sink deeper into the front knee. Take your right arm, bring your right arm forward, tack your left elbow on your right thigh, and then your right hand on your left hand. So now you're in that twisted chair shape, but in a lunge. And it's the same cue, lengthen through your spine before finding rotation in those right side ribs. Kick through your back heel, you can always drop the knee, and breathe here for 5. You're doing great. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Gracefully plant your hands onto the floor and step your right leg all the way back, downward dog. Either stay here and just work on stillness and stability through this big hamstring stretch in downward dog, or cycle your body forward into a high plank. Bend at the elbows, find that tricep push-up, and then flip the tops of your feet onto the floor, pull your heart and chest up, squeeze your bum cheeks together. Here's upward dog. Engage your core as you move back into downward facing dog. Find a little grace here, a few breaths before you look forward and take your left foot between your hands. A nice wide stance will keep you steady and stable. Sometimes I like to just perch for a moment and move my hips around until I find a place that I know I can stay in. Now zip up through your core. Zip up through your core. Pull your hands together at heart center. Push through the big toe mound of that left foot. Take your arms all the way up. That's your inhale. When an exhale comes through, rotate to the left. To the left, keep bending deep into the front knee. And drop your left hand down your back thigh before you reach your right arm up alongside your right ear, like it's stretching back behind you. Add a little grace to the fingers as you bend into your right elbow and place your right elbow across your left thigh. Take your left hand on top of your right hand. Right away, can you kick out through your right heel? Reach forward through the crown of your head and roll your left ribs up. Maybe you look up, but if that messes up your balance, just look right out in front or down for 3, 2, and 1. Brilliant. Take your hands down to the floor, step back, downward facing dog. Downward facing dog. And from downward facing dog, you'll walk your hands and your feet together so they might meet in the center of the mat. Take your peace fingers around your big toe, both big toes. Inhale, lengthen your spine halfway. Exhale, bend at your elbows and just fold forward here. Yeah, let the crown of your head really tank down towards the floor. Now release your hands down in front of you. Separate your feet mat distance apart. Maybe a little wider. Actually, no, let's stay with mat distance, but turn your toes out 45 degrees. Stretch your left arm down on the floor on the inside of your left leg. So you're in Malasana, and some bodies do not like this shape, in which case you just place a prop right under your bum. Left arm is stretched out. Open your right arm out. Take a breath in. And now turn both hands to face back behind you. Bend into your elbows. Could you maybe try to clasp your hands behind your back? Lots of big shoulder opening here. And if that works for your body, you can start to roll your right shoulder up. If it doesn't work, just grab your shirt. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Good. Let's let that go. Come through center. Place your hands together. Elbows push your knees out. Knees push your elbows in. Take a breath in. That's your reset. And then exhale, you can slip right into the other side. So it's your right arm stretching on the inside of the right leg. Open that left arm up. Both arms are in this big full extension. Before you turn your palms to face back behind you, bend into your elbows and catch your shirt, just the fabric of your shirt, or maybe take a bind by connecting your hands. And when you're there, start to work your top shoulder back. Breathing for 3. Good job, 2. And 1. Release that all down. If you have a block underneath of you, take it out to the side. Push your hands onto the floor and get out of that cranky compression in the hips and the knees. Straighten out your legs. Let your head dangle here. Let your body dangle and just weave from side to side. And then slowly come all the way up to standing shape. Roll your shoulders around a few times. If you feel dizzy, that's okay. Just close your eyes, catch your breath. Shoulders roll in the other direction. And let's see if we can put all that together in a standing balance pose. So come somewhere where you have lots of room. Good. I have a Band-Aid on my toe right now that keeps falling off because it's one of those like Paw Patrol branded Band-Aids that cost so much money and don't work. So I'm going to show you my feet for this next pose, but hopefully my Band-Aid doesn't fall off. Ground through the sole of your right foot and bend into your left knee. Bring it forward. The opposite hand is right on your hip. And then take your peace fingers around your toe. See, there's my Band-Aid. Take your peace fingers around your big toe. So the arm is on the inside of the leg, just like it was in the squat pose. Now, could you try to extend that leg forward by any amount? And it might go to full extension. It probably won't. That's okay. Find your breath. Zip up through your midline like you're tightening up that corset. Either stay here or open that leg out to the side. Again, it can stay super bent, or you push through the heel to find full extension. The final piece of this pose would be to send the opposite arm out alongside you, maybe lift it up. Then you have the option to really flirt with instability by peering towards that lifted hand for 3, 2, and 1. Bring it back as slowly as you took it out. So first that knee comes through out in front and then bend into the knee. Finally, place the foot on the floor and just wiggle your hips from side to side. Maybe a little figure 8 movement with your hips. Be nice here. Good. That's called hand to big toe pose, a really, really strong and challenging twisted balancing shape. Shall we try on the other side? Bend into your right knee. Take your peace and love fingers of the right hand. Bring that arm to the inside of the leg and place the opposite hand on your hip. Phase 1 is this. You can stay here or shoot that leg out into extension. And when you start to do that, pull or plug the femur bone back in towards the hip socket. Firm through the core as you start to open into the side. So now that leg is reaching to the side. It might straighten, it might not. Option to dance the opposite hand up and away, or to even peer towards it. That's ultra tricky. Breathe here for 3. Good, there's 2 and 1. A slow and graceful return to standing. And then place your hands on your hips and just take some figure 8 movements in each direction. Let's do those in each direction. Perfect. Come towards the top of your yoga mat. Spread your toes nice and wide. Inhale, scoop both arms up. Exhale, fold all the way down to the floor. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale, plant your hands, step back into plank pose, and now lower halfway or all the way. Inhale into a tiny back bend or upward dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Walk your hands and your feet together again. They'll meet towards the center of your yoga mat. And this time, scoop your hands all the way under your feet so your toes could massage your wrists. Let your head hang super duper heavy. Bend into your elbows, shoulders release, head releases. Breathe here. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Take your hands out from underneath your feet. Bend into your knees and walk your hands up your body all the way up to stand. When you get to standing, close your eyes. Just lift your shoulders up and drop them down. Elevate your shoulders up. Depress them back down. One more time. Lift your shoulders up and drop them down. Good. Now sit into your chair pose. Sit into your nice deep chair pose. Draw the weight into the left foot as you take your right leg, lift it up, and cross your right leg over your left leg. Your toes could touch the floor or wrap around that right shin. Hips are really low here. Now, option 1 is to take your right arm under your left arm and just give yourself a squeeze, a big hug. Option 2 is the hands touch with the backs of your hands. And option 3 is you connect to the palms of your hands. Now squeeze your whole body together, really, really tight, like you're a tube of yogurt and you're trying to get that last little bit of yogurt out. Take a big breath in, reach your fingers high, sink your lips to your hips low, and then exhale, let it go, release the legs. Send your arms up, inhale, hands just come to your heart for the exhale. Breathe in and breathe out. Good, this is the last hard thing we'll do. So the more active, difficult, challenging pose. Arms lift up, chair pose. Ground through the sole of your right foot, lift your left leg up and place the toes on the floor or maybe wrap them behind that right calf. Now think your hips super low. My son calls this potty pose, like you're trying to take a squat on the potty. Place your left arm under your right arm, give yourself a hug. Maybe the backs of the hands kiss, maybe the palms kiss. Reach your fingers up, engage your core. See how that changes everything. And breathe for 3, keep squeezing in. 2, keep sinking deeper in that right knee. And 1, you're all done. Reach your arms up, breathe in. Exhale, hands come to your heart. Breathe here, 3 breaths. Good, could you come to sit down on your mat? Come to sit down on your mat. And you know what? Bring your block or your blanket nearby. One or the other is fine. Stretch both legs out. And just flex your feet. Look towards your toes. Inhale, scoop your arms up. Exhale, hinge forward. You're coming into Dandasana, deep forward fold. You can always open your legs here if you need more room. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, fold. Spinal flexion is a-okay here. If you'd like to stretch out the tissues of your spine, to focus on the hamstrings, you'll keep your spine really long instead of round. One more breath in. And exhale, perfect. Lift your spine back up. Take your right leg into your hand. Good, take your right leg into your hand and let's manually guide that right leg over towards the left. So the right knee starts to sit just above the left knee. And if that picks up one of your bum cheeks, could you tuck your blanket under it so the floor rises up to meet your bum and there's not a big gap between the two? This is option one. If you have super tight hips, just hang out here. You can do the whole set from here. For option two, you'll lean over to the left a little bit, bend into your left knee, and work your bum down in between your heels for shoelace pose. So that left leg is extended or bent, and then take your peace fingers around your big toes, lengthen through your spine, and inhale. Exhale, your hips keep sinking deeper. Inhale, find the length. Exhale, surrender the weight of your hips. On your next inhale, take your arms, reach your arms all the way up, look up. And with an exhale, place your right arm under your left arm. Either give yourself a hug, take the backs of your hands together, or take your palms together. Wherever you are, inhale, think about squeezing into the center line of your body. If your arms are bound in eagle pose, reach the fingers and the elbows up higher. And with every exhale, can you keep rooting down, particularly through that right hip? Good. Unlatch your arms, reach them all the way up. Inhale. Exhale, listen carefully. Can you rotate towards the right? Towards the right. Things get really twisty here. Take your left elbow. Imagine you have a big baseball glove in your left hand. Keep your left arm bent and tack your left elbow onto your right thigh, just beneath the knee. Now bring your right hand and place it on your left hand. And push your palms together, lengthen through your spine, then start to rotate your ribs up. And all of the Halloween treats you had last night are officially digesting through your body. Twisted eagle from the ground. Take one more breath in. Exhale, come through center, open your arms wide, and to rotate to the other side. Place your left hand behind you, right hand in front of that right shin, maybe peer back behind you. And then really carefully, because your body's gonna feel like it's about 100 years old now, unwrap your joints. Send your legs out and shake your feet. That's one of those poses that's like really good and really gross at the same time, isn't it? Open your feet nice and wide. Your legs nice and wide. Inhale, reach your arms up, flex your toes so your feet are flat. Exhale, hinge forward. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, hold. 5 deep breaths here. Feel free to integrate little movements if there's particular hot, spicy areas of tension in your body. One more breath in. Exhale. Inhale, walk your hands in towards your torso. Zip your legs up, bringing the feet towards one another. And now pick up your left leg. Pick up your left leg and manually set that left knee on top of your right thigh. Option is to stay here. You can do all the things from here. Or bend into your right knee. Readjust. And try to tag that left hip down onto the floor. Again, if it doesn't quite make it, just add a little blanket. Take your peace fingers, grab onto your big toes. Inhale here, long through your spine. Exhale, drop your left hip down. 2 more breaths, simple breaths.
Very good. Release your hands. Take your arms, reach your arms up on an inhale. And with the exhale, your left arm comes under. Give yourself a squeeze, phase one. Take the backs of your hands together, phase two. Or kiss your palms, phase three. And now squish your elbows in, palms together, reach your fingers up, here down. Inhale and exhale, 3 breaths just like this. Incredible. Release your arms, take them all the way up on an inhale. And on the exhale, rotate towards the left, opening your arms wide, like that standing twist we did in the lunge. But bend into your right elbow, cruise it across your left thigh, lengthen and rotate before you take your left hand on your right hand. And use a little bit of resistance by pushing your thigh into your elbow into your thigh to roll your torso open. Maybe you even look back behind you. Just breathing for 3, 2, and 1. Let's come out into a full counter twist. So rotate around to the other side. Breathe in and breathe out. Take your hands down beside you. Stretch your legs out. Good. And come right down onto your back. Right down onto your back with a block nearby. And because we'll get that block and tack it directly under our pelvis. Otherwise, if you don't have a block, just do an active bridge pose. If you do have a block, place that block right under your pelvis, relax your arms, close your eyes. 5 breaths here. Push into your feet, lift your hips up, and then simply lower your spine onto the floor. Track your hips to the left, drop your knees to the right, arms open wide, look over your left shoulder. Breathe here. Roll back through neutral, right onto the other side. So your hips shift right, knees drop left. 3 breaths here. Wonderful. Bring your knees back through center. You have a moment for a little check-in. If there's any shapes or adjustments you need, take those. Otherwise, drop down for a short and sweet Shavasana. 2 minutes here. I'll call you out when we're done.
Slowly, slowly start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Drift your head from side to side. Lift your arms up, up, up. Stretch them overhead. Inhale. And exhale to relax. Bend into your knees. Tilt over to either side. Push your hands into the floor. And pick yourself all the way back up. Take your hands to your heart center. Bow your head into your hands. And remember your intention of letting go. Let's take one more deep breath in. And a big, huge exhale to let go, let go, let go. Thank you for coming. Namaste.